Jamaica is about to hold one of the toughest election races in history, with Mark Golding and Andrew Holness clashing head-to-head for the country's top seat. Now in this video, I asked ChatGPT if at all it were to vote in the forthcoming Jamaican general elections, then whom would it vote for Prime Minister? And by the way, this isn't just a random thought experiment. I mean, these elections are so important to the Jamaican people. Currently, Jamaica is facing so many problems. It's facing problems like high crime rates, high costs of living, and so much more. Therefore, the person who wins in the forthcoming general elections really matters a lot to the people of Jamaica. And that's why I am doing this test. Whoever takes the top seat will be steering Jamaica's economies, the youth's future, and even national stability for the next 5 years to come. And trust me, the race is really tight. Polls have been flipping back and forth. While Mark Golding is gaining serious momentum with younger voters, Andrew Holness still holds strong influence, especially among older and more conservative Jamaicans. Now, I know ChatGPT is trained to stay neutral and diplomatic, but don't worry, today I'm pushing for a real direct answer, no sitting on the fence. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into it. First, I informed ChatGPT the project I was working on and what I was specifically focusing on. I asked it to just gather all the information concerning these general elections and all the information concerning the top two candidates for the position of the Prime Minister. And I asked it also not to tell me a thing, just gather the information and let me know first. And this is what it did exactly. Thereafter, I went straight into the question. I believe you know both Mark Golding's and Andrew Holness's manifestos and promises in the forthcoming elections, analyzing their promises to the people and their personalities based on their political history. Tell me, who would you vote for between the two, and please do not be evasive. Tell me the leader who would best serve the interest of Jamaicans concerning their current problems. Mention the guy you would vote for. Direct. I have just prompted it to give me a direct answer and not be evasive, and that is what ChatGPT did exactly. Now let's get to what it answered. So ladies and gentlemen, ChatGPT didn't just go straight to the answer. Instead, it decided to give me a breakdown of why it decided to vote on the particular candidate that it decided or it settled on. So first, it began by saying, before choosing who should lead, here's what Jamaicans are facing. 1. Crime and violence, particularly gang violence and homicides. This has been a generational plague. 2. The cost of living. It explains by saying inflation is straining household budgets, food prices, housing and utility costs are up. The third problem, youth unemployment and undereducation. Education basically. Many young people are disillusioned or underemployed. The fourth problem, according to ChatGPT, is public trust in politics. There's frustration with corruption, inefficiency, and broken promises. And this means that the politicians who are being elected are not just exactly doing what they promised. And that's also the problem here in Africa, And it goes on to say, so the real question is, who seems more likely not to just campaign well, but govern effectively on these fronts? So ChatGPT went ahead and analyzed both candidates and gave its pros on each candidate and all their cons on each specific candidate. So the first one, it began with Andrew Holness of the Jamaican Labour Party, who is also the incumbent Prime Minister. First of all, his pros. At number 1, his experience. The Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, who is also the incumbent, has been the Prime Minister since 2016. He knows very well the machinery of the government and how the government works. 2. Economic stability. Under his watch, Jamaica's macroeconomy remained relatively stable post-COVID. Debts levels have gone down. 3. Infrastructure programs. Focus on roads, housing, and the new spark tax incentive program for workers. His cons: crime hasn't improved much. Despite SOEs or states of emergency, the murder rates remain high. Many feel it's just policing without social investment. 2. Perception of arrogance and stagnation. Some critics say he's out of touch and that the government is slow to act unless there's pressure. Number 3. Waning enthusiasm. I don't know what that is. After 2 terms, even JLP supporters feel the spark is fading. The second candidate who is on the opposition is Mark Golding, People's National Party. That's his party. His pros, according to ChatGPT, are fresh energy. He is seen more open to dialogue, willing to listen, especially to young Jamaicans and underserved communities. 2. Justice reformer. As former justice minister, he pushed reforms like expungement of minor offenses and decriminalization efforts. Progressive platforms, that is his third pro, promises stronger investment in social welfare, education, and community-level crime prevention, not just police crackdowns. His cons, however, are limited executive experience. He hasn't held the reins of the country yet, only ministerial roles. PNP legacy baggage, that is his second con. Though he's a new leader, PNP's past missteps, economic stagnation, corruption issues still hang over him. Well, the third con is still vague on economic plans. He's passionate but needs to better explain how he'll fund all these social reforms. So finally, guys, we get to the verdict. And this is the point that ChatGPT tells us who it would vote for in the forthcoming general elections. And this is what ChatGPT said. If I were Jamaican, I would vote for Mark Golding. And here's why. Jamaica needs a reset in approach, especially on crime. Not just militarized crackdowns, but investment in communities. Golding's emphasis on community justice, youth programs, and social reforms shows he gets that. The economic situation requires someone willing to rethink the status quo, and wholeness, while steady, is not seen by many as just holding the wheel rather than steering new direction. Public trust is low. That is the third reason for voting for Mark Golding. And Golding has been less entangled in scandals or arrogance compared to the perception around wholeness and some JLP MPs. Now, that said, this isn't a romantic choice. It's a strategic one. Golding still needs to prove that he can manage an economy as well as he campaigns. But the promise of reform and reconnection with ordinary Jamaicans make him the better option at this moment. I don't know if you get that, but all in all, the thing is that ChatGPT chose Mark Golding over Andrew Holness, but it further explains that this is just a race between two villains. So ChatGPT is just suggesting that even if Mark Golding is a bad person or is equally bad, he may prove to be better because Jamaica needs, or what Jamaica needs right now, are new ideas and a fresh brain. And the person offering the fresh brain at the moment is Mark Golding. Now, please tell me what you think about the whole analysis by ChatGPT and its candidate of choice. And by the way, if it's your first time on this channel, please give this video a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to this YouTube channel, because these are the kind of content, or these are the kind of videos I post on this channel, and I do that on a daily basis. So please subscribe to see more videos from me. Otherwise, I hope to be seeing you in the next video. Bye.